Okay, if lot sizes were an issue for you in the past, then I'm about to just make them so freaking easy. Lot sizes are so important because depending on your account size, it's very important that you're trading the correct lot size, and your account is going to determine that lot size. Okay, whether it's a 100K account, a 50K account, 10K account, $1,000, $100, it doesn't matter the size of the account. What matters is that you get the correct lot size in there. And we are trading the 1 minute chart, which moves faster. Now, we know that we're not getting in on the formation of candles, okay? We're waiting until that last 2 to 3 seconds of the candle formation until we enter a trade to make sure, hey, we want to make sure this candle is what we think it is and it's not going to change right on the very, you know, end for us and turn into something else. So we've got that 60 seconds to just sit there and watch the candle. So that gives us enough time to get our lot size into our MT4 or whichever platform you trade on. I usually trade on MT4. But that said, if we need to go and calculate our lot size every single time with a calculator or find a calculator online or whatever, it's going to be very difficult. And a lot of times those trades are just going to leave without you. And you don't want to get into that fear of missing out state or try to catch a trade. Okay, that's very unhealthy. So what I'm going to teach you is the ultimate equation right here for figuring out the lot size that you need. So let's go ahead and pull open our calculator, and I will teach you how to find this. So we're going to work with a $50,000 account right here for this example, but the equation that you're going to be using is whatever you're risking. So whether you've chosen to risk a full percent, a 0.5%, or a 1/4%, in this example, we're going to go with a full percent. You're going to divide that by the stop loss in pips. So let's say right here, you're looking to put on some trade right here and your stop loss works out to be 5.6 pips, okay? So that would be the stop loss that you're looking to work with. And then we're going to divide it all by 10, okay? So, and to figure out what 1% of your account is, by the way, you just take your full account size and you times it by 0.01. That's 1%. So in this case, it's $500. If you're doing 0.5%, you divide it. In this case, it'd be 250. A quarter in this case would be 125. You go ahead and figure out what those are for you. Those are very, very important numbers. And this is going to help you not over leverage and also not under leverage, okay? And we're going to get to speed, okay? Remember, if you've ever seen the movie Count of Monte Cristo, where he's teaching him how to, the priest is teaching the dude how to fight in the cell and everything, and like quick and parry with swords. He's like, speed of hand, speed of hand. Okay, we're going to get to that stuff because speed of hand is very important when trading the 1 minute, but don't get overwhelmed about it. It's completely, I do this all the time. You're going to do this all the time, and you're going to see how simple it is. Okay, so let's say for this trade over here, let's just kind of make this a trade. So we got a 5.6 pip stop loss. So we're going to come over and we're going to do our 1%, in this case 500. We're going to divide it by 5.6, and then we're going to divide it by 10. Same equation no matter what account size you have. Okay, 8.9 lots. 8.9 lots is the correct lot size for this. Now, what we could do is we could go through and write down every single combination that there is, but that would be a real pain in the ass, and something tells me it just wouldn't really work over the long term anyway, okay? So we need, are you really going to go, you know, you don't really know. Let me explain this to you. You don't really know for sure if this is going to be the perfect stop loss for you, because number one, the spread, no matter how hard you try to calculate it out, you don't know if it's going to be 1/3 of a pip or a 1/2 a pip or 0.1 of a pip or closer to a pip or more to put you into the trade, okay? It depends on your broker. It depends on all of that stuff. When I usually trade pound USD, a lot of the trades that I take are anywhere from 1/3 of a pip to get into the trade. And on that same note, You don't know how price is going to move when you're jumping over to your MT4, your platform, to put in the price. Even if you're taking trades off Oanda, the price can still move. And so there's nothing that says it's going to stay the same. So now you've got a variance that you have to deal with. So we can't sit here and pretend that 5.6 is the perfect stop loss, because in all reality, when we get into the trade, we may think we're going to get put in right here, but in reality, we're put in down here. And that's the reality of trading. You don't exactly know. So what we're doing is we're not looking for perfect stop losses. What we're looking for is a ballpark. So to have to go and calculate this out every single time is, first of all, there's no way we're going to do that. But even to go over here and say, okay, so 5.6 pips is going to be 8.9 lots is a little bit ridiculous. And then we go through and we calculate 5.7 pips, 5.8, 5.9, okay? And then we just keep going down the line all the way. Okay, 12.1 pips, 12.2 pips, and all these things. It just is going to be, it's more work than we actually need to do. And in the long run, I think that it's just going to slow us down, and we're not going to be getting the correct stop losses anyway. None of them are going to be perfect from what I previously explained. So let me tell you what I do, okay? So what I do is this. I'm going to give you two different ways to do this, and the way that your brain works and you're comfortable with, you can go ahead and do that way, okay? The first one is we are going to calculate. Now, the smallest trade you'll probably take is around 2 pips. The largest trade that you'll take is probably somewhere around 10 pips or so, something like that. Of course, could go a little bit lower, could go a little bit higher, but that's the general range that we're going to work in. So we're going to use our formula. You're going to grab whatever the percentage of risk that you're working with in your account. You're going to put that in. You're going to divide it by 2 pips and then divide it by 10. It's going to give you 25 for a lot size. So we'll put in 25. So then we're going to go 3 pips. Okay, in this case, there's our 1%. We'll divide it by 3, divide it by 10, 16.6. We'll go 16. Honestly, I'm just going to go to 17. I'm just going to go to 17 there. Okay. So now we got 4 pips. So we're going to take our 1% in this case, divide it by 4, divide it by 10, 12.5. 12.5, let's just go 13. Okay. And I want you to also remember that when you're taking these trades and you're keeping your stop loss in mind and stuff like that, nothing is exact, okay? Not only is your entry not exact because of spread and because of price moving when you're putting on your entry that you think you're going to get, but you're really going to get something that's slightly off, which is fine. This is how the trades work out all the time. But if price hits your stop loss, okay, it may tap you out right at the price that you were expecting it to. But if it has a lot of momentum and it hits your stop loss and it flies through like this, then it's going to cost you more than you anticipated it costing you, okay? It's gonna, so if you were expecting, okay, should be right at $500. Well, it may be right at $500. It also may be at $550 or $60, okay, depending on just how fast price is moving. It's the same with your take profit, okay? When you're waiting for that take profit, it may hit you out exactly at, whatever it is. We'll say $1,000. But it also, if price is moving fast, it may give you $1,080 or $1,100, okay, just depending. When you're waiting for that 1-to-1, if you choose to manage it, like I often manage my trades, okay, 25% off at 1, 25% off at 1-to-2, each of those stops. Then when it gets to 1, it may tap 1 and then you execute, but it just didn't quite get it at that 1. So, you may have only taken off, maybe you were expecting to take off $250 where you only got $200. But then you go down to the 2, and as soon as you do it, price just falls through at the same time you're doing it. So instead of getting 350, then you got 410, something like that. So none of these numbers are going to be exact, and you need to make peace with that. I want to let you know that that's okay, that those don't add up perfectly. And for commissions as well. So like on some of these you'll be paying, it depends on what broker and all that stuff, but if you pay commission, generally you're paying a few dollars per lot. So that has to be taken into account too. But rather than doing all this kind of like impossible math that doesn't even make sense to do, we're going to go ahead and work with this imperfect game. And so we're going to have imperfect stop losses and imperfect lot sizes, and it's going to help us be faster and make this game easier. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one more. So we'll take our 1% risk, we'll divide it by 5 pips, and we'll divide it by 10, and that gives us 10. Okay, so we'll put in 5 pips, 10 lots. Nice. We don't even have to round it down. It's already a solid whole number for us. Okay. So now let me show you something. Okay. This is the first way to do this. Okay. The first way to do this is we're not even going to deal with 2.5 pips, 3.5 pips, 4.5 pips. We're just going to deal with the whole number of the pip. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and then what we're going to do is when we have a trade, we're going to map it out the best we can. Let's say this isn't actually a trade that we would take, but let's say we were working with this red candle right here. Actually, let's make this a bit bigger so we can see things better. And it's at like, okay, we got like, 20 seconds to go on the candle. We're mapping it out. It could fall further. It could curl up a little bit more, but we know we're generally in this vicinity right here for an entry. Somewhere in this range is where price is going to put us in once we execute the trade manually. And so our stop loss is going to be somewhere between 4 and 5 pips, it looks like. It's going to be somewhere between 4 and 5 pips, okay? So in this case, we'd go up. We don't want to be on the small side for this, right? We want to be on the bigger side. We want to give ourselves a little bit of room. So if it's going to be between 4 and 5 pips, and we're like, okay, right now, it's looking like it's kind of like 4.5-ish area, boom. We're just going to grab 5, and we're going to put in our 10 lots. And we're going to go ahead and the last 2 to 3 seconds of this candle, as long as it still looks good, as long as it hasn't curled up on us and become something that it's not. Remember, this is not a real trade we would take. This is just an example of using this candle. As long as everything looks good, then we're good to go. We're good to pull the trigger on this trade and go. And then after, then we would go and we would see right here under price the exact price that we got in it, okay? So here it says 1.31815, okay? Let's say that we really got put in at 1.31808, okay? Let's just say, for example, that's where we got put in it. So we go ahead, we'd move our trade right here. This is where we got in it. We'd grab our stop loss and pull it up to our max 5 pips. That's max, okay? Once you put in your stop loss, once you coordinate your lot size to the amount of pips in your stop, there's no change in that, okay? You're not pulling your stop up, even if you're like, oh shit, I guess spread put me down lower than I thought. Well, learn from that mistake, and next time, don't let it happen. Use a bigger stop loss and just make sure that you're on point with that. But there's no moving your stop loss like, oh shit, I thought I had more room, so I'm going to pull it up here. No, because then you are really playing a dangerous game right there with your risk, okay? You're widening that risk up to be more than you thought it was, okay? So if that is a problem for you and you are really new at this, go ahead and use a small lot size until you become comfortable using the proper lot size, okay, where you have everything figured out. Like, okay, I know where my general entry is. Okay, I know where my general stop loss is. Okay, let me go ahead and grab my lot size and throw it in, okay? So and what I meant to say is use less risk. That's what I'm meaning to say, is use less risk. So you're doing this process, but you are just using less risk, so that if you find, dang man, I put on like 10 trades and they keep, my stop loss is too tight, once I actually get the price that the market put me in at. See, I thought I was going to get up here, but after I execute the trade, it puts me down here. Well, then over time, hey, I need to go with a lower lot size and a higher pip rate. Okay, so you have a little more room to work. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now that's one way to do it. So you would just do it like that over and over and over again. Okay, oh, I think there's a trade here. Let's see. Okay, it's like 10 seconds to the candle close, and it looks like my stop loss is somewhere around 4.5 pips. Okay, I'm comfortable going with 13 pips. Let me put it in there. Okay, and I know if it goes down more, and I know that if this moves down more, it's going to widen my stop loss up and to maybe around the 5 pip or 4.5 pip area. Let's see. No, everything looks good. Everything. Oh shit, the candle just dropped. I still got 10 seconds on it. Now that's not a 4 pip stop loss anymore. I better go to my 5 pip stop loss just in case. 4, 3. Okay, boom. 2, boom. Okay, I'm going to sell that. 1, boom. Candles finished closing. Okay, it'll kind of be like that. Okay, that's one way you can do it. Now, the other way is the way that I oftentimes do it. And I don't want to make it sound like this is the right way, because it depends what you're comfortable with. But a lot of the time, I really will do it this way. Okay, a lot of my trades are between 4.6 pips, 4.8 pips. 2 pips, 8.8 pips. Okay. Well, 1.9 pips, 3.4 pips, 2.1 pips. Okay. So some of them are on the lower side, but a lot of my trades, they are between generally 3 and 5 pips. Okay. And that's just kind of how it works. And so one thing that I will do is I will come over to the chart, and I'll have my trade kind of waiting right here in the wings. Let's say that it's like 4 pips. And then I'll get my stop loss where I want it. Okay, let's just say that I want it here. And then what I'll do is, if it's within that 3 to 5 pip range, then I will just grab the in-between. Okay, I will just grab the in-between of whatever that is. So I know that is 10 pips is the correct lot size for 5 pip stop loss. 4 pips is 12.5. 3 pips is 17. But in between all that, 10 plus 12.5 plus 17 equals, divided by 3, is like 13. Okay, so 13, a little over 13, but I'm just going to round it down. So 13. And so what I would do is I'd come over here on my MT4, and as long as my stop loss is in between 3 to 5 pips, then I can go ahead and I can just grab that 13 right there and just sock it in. And so then if price ends up coming down a little bit right here, and I'm like, oh, okay, it looks like it put me in down here a little bit. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little bit higher, not a problem. Then if I want to, I can take that stop loss and I can just raise it a little bit. Or if price is coming up and it put me up in here, then I can be like, oh, okay, cool. I actually got in for a little bit better price than I thought. I'm going to go ahead and snug my stop loss up a little bit, or I could leave it the same, whatever. But that makes it so freaking quick. And so a lot of the time when you see me trade, then I'll have like 2 different trades like this, like one's 4.6, one's 4.8, one's 3.9, one's 5, one's 4. and they will all have a similar lot size or the same lot size because that's what I'm working with. So as long as it's within that kind of tight range, then I will just go ahead and I'll just use that lot size. And if you look, like, a lot of trades are going to be around that lot size. A lot of trades are going to be around 3 pips, 4 pips, around 5 pips. So that makes sense to me, and that has been working for me. But I definitely want to give you either one of these options to work with. You know, if this is just too like, hey man, that's not specific enough or on target enough for me, go ahead and use this one, okay? And then you can know you're just getting in. Hey, if it's about 5 pips, boom, you're at 10 lots. About 4 pips, boom, you're at 13 lots, okay? And that's very simple, very easy, and I will use that sometimes. If it's just in this kind of 3 to 5 pip range, you know, I'm just doing like 13, 14 lots, just hands down, I'm just in the trade for 13, 14 lots, okay? So we're not going to get, I don't want you to think of your risk as like, oh my God, it needs to be exactly 0.5%. Sometimes using this way of trading, it's going to be a little bit under 1% that you're going to lose. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit over 1% or a little bit over 0.5% or under 0.5%, whatever your specific risk is. Okay. If it's a quarter, a little over a quarter, a little under a quarter, you are rarely ever going to get trades that stop you out and it is exactly 1% or exactly 0.25%. Yeah, it happens. It's happened to me plenty, but that's not the norm that happens. So I hope that this really helps you figure out your lot size. So what you need to do now is go through, apply this formula to your account size, you know, get at least between like 2 and 10 pips going, and then you can try that out. Then once you kind of get a knack for, you know, hey man, a lot of my trades are around 5, 6, and 7 pips. Well, then you can go ahead and you can do the same thing that I did here. Or, you know what, a lot of my pips are between like 3 to 5 pips, and this just makes it quicker. Okay, you can go ahead and do that. If this works for you, that's completely fine.